Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Dear students, in continuation of our first lecture on the death due to asphyxia or asphyxial death, where we discussed the definitions of asphyxia, anoxia, hypoxia, classification or types of anoxia, then the classification of asphyxia, and along with that we talked about the anatomy, physiology, pathology of asphyxia. In continuation of that, we will discuss in more detail the physiochemico-pathological changes that occurs in asphyxia to give you a more clear concept of these changes, because these changes will produce signs and symptoms that can be observed on the dead body as the non-specific pathological general findings in asphyxia, and you must be able to recognize these findings on the dead body. Physiology of asphyxia. There are these physiology of asphyxia studied on the human volunteers and in the animals, particularly dogs, and observations are as follows: that there are three stages of extremely short duration. When asphyxia, you must remember that it is the interference with the transfer of oxygen to the air passages. So when asphyxia is complete, fatal period is not more than 2 to 3 minutes. When the death is due to anoxic anoxia. When the death is due to vagal inhibition, cardiac arrest, fatal period is instantaneous. Stage 1. There is obstruction that lead to the suboxia, that is decrease in oxygen concentration, and there is an increase in carbon dioxide concentration that lead to the cyanosis. As a result of increase in carbon dioxide concentration, there is stimulation of respiratory center, increase in rate and amplitude of respiration, blood pressure and pulse remain unchanged. Then the stage 2, there is struggle to breathe, expiratory type deep cyanosis, neck veins swollen, congestion of face and other organs, unconsciousness, breathing mode labeled, occasionally there is convulsions. Stage 3, unconsciousness deepens, slow breathing, mostly inspiratory with long intervals, pupils dilate, conjunctiva insensible, respiration fails but heart continues to beat for some time. With that, physiological, there are biochemical changes that occurs at the same time. These are mainly increase in the concentration of carbon dioxide, decrease in the carbon oxygen concentration, pH is on acidic side, respiratory acidosis, blood sugar level increases, there is replacement of sodium and potassium ions of tissue as sodium pump fails, sodium enters and potassium leaves the cell. These changes lead to marked degenerative changes in the cell, leading to death of cells. Degenerative changes are visible under the microscope, but here the basic problem lies that these degenerative changes due to asphyxia, they resemble with the postmortem autolytic changes, and differentiation cannot be made. Macroscopic changes hence is the main diagnostic feature in case of death due to asphyxia. Pathology of asphyxia, as I have discussed it in the first lecture, a little more detail. Nervous tissue and small blood vessels, when used in capillaries, are extremely sensitive to oxygen deficiency. That oxygen deficiency causes immediate death of nervous tissue, but it also causes dilatation of the blood vessel. Then there is stasis of blood circulation that lead to capillovenous engorgement, and there is increase in carbon dioxide. So as a result, there is macroscopically observed congestion and cyanosis. But oxygen lack also lead to increase in capillary permeability. As a result, fluid part leaks into the interstitial spaces, and that lead to the edema of the tissue, particularly the pulmonary edema in case of asphyxia. The further effect of degenerative changes in the blood vessel lead to the capillary damage, and blood leaks into the interstitial tissue and petechial hemorrhages are seen. These are first described by French police surgeon Tardy, and these are also known as Tardy spots after his name, although they occur in the substance of the tissue but are visible on the surface of organ under serous membrane like heart and lungs. Then there is release of fibrinolysin due to the capillary endothelium damage, and that fibrinolysin lead to the postmortem fluidity of the blood. Hence, pathological changes in asphyxia are cyanosis, congestion, manifested more easily on face, fluidity of blood, pulmonary edema. Edema is generalized but manifested more easily in the lungs and brain, and petechial hemorrhages, also known as tardy spots, manifested more easily on surface of organs like lungs, brain, heart, and also on face and conjunctiva. Now we proceed to the classification of mechanical asphyxia that has the more medico-legal significance. There are 5 levels of obstruction: external openings, that is mouth and nose; upper respiratory changes, that openings, that is choking, nasopharynx, oropharynx; then the larynx including the trachea upper part, that is the hanging, and strangulation. Strangulation is further of two types. One is strangulation by ligature, it is also called garroting. The other is strangulation by hands, it is also called throttling or manual strangulation. Then the lower trachea and bronchus, when the foreign body is impacted, a food, a stone, a bullet, a cane, etc., a vomitus. Then the respiratory muscles, their paralysis or their immobility, as in case of traumatic asphyxia. Mechanical asphyxia, in that case, airways are blocked in an unnatural way, either from within or without, and there are 5 levels as I have told you. External opening, that is nose and mouth. When nose and mouth are closed by hands, it is called smothering. Only even if mouth is closed by hand, death can occur, because due to the struggle in breathing, mucus accumulates in the nose that blocks the inspiration. That is also smothering. When cloth is inserted into the mouth, it is called gagging. Or when the mouth is covered, face and head is covered and tied by a bag, plastic bag, it is called suffocation. Upper respiratory passages at the level where two external opening meets, that is at the level of glottis, it is choking due to impaction of certain food particle, bullet, coin, etc. Larynx and upper trachea, it is the example of strangulation. Strangulation include hanging, strangulation by ligature, that is garroting, and strangulation by hand, that is throttling or manual strangulation. Lower trachea and main bronchus, again vomitus, inhalation of foreign matter, and respiratory muscles immobilization, for example traumatic asphyxia due to the falling of roof on a person or due to the stampede, for example observed in during Hajj. Compression of neck that results in obstruction to venous drainage from head towards the heart that causes congestion, obstruction of major arteries causing reduction in blood supply towards the brain that lead to the circulatory anoxia, obstruction to windpipe causing a generalized oxygen deficiency, that is prevent the transfer of air to the air passages or to the lungs, that is anoxic anoxia. Pressure on thyroid cartilage or hyoid bone causes their fracture. Pressure on soft tissues of neck causing injuries to them, that is bruises and abrasions. These soft tissues injuries lead to the bruises and abrasions on the skin, muscles, even on the intima of the carotid arteries. We first deal with the strangulation, that is application of a constricting force around the neck, that is at the level of larynx and upper trachea. And I have told you that there are three conditions including in it: strangulation through hanging, ligature strangulation also called garroting, manual strangulation also called throttling. When the neck is strangled by elbow, it is called mugging, or by the foot or by the knee, it is called mucking. When the neck is strangled by two sticks placed on the anterior and posterior part of the neck and then twisting them, it is called Bans Dola. जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम औज़ुबिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम. Dear students, this is the third lectures on the topic of death due to asphyxia, and we will now deal with the specific conditions. The first condition to study today is the throttling. That is one of the type of the strangulation. It is also called manual strangulation. When the neck is strangled by means of hands, it is in this case the force is applied to the neck of a person by pressure from hands or forearm of another person. Mode of death in that case is asphyxia, and mechanism of death may be anoxic anoxia, when pressure on the neck prevent free passage of air to the respiratory passages. Mode of death may be syncopal, and mechanism of death may be the sudden cardiac arrest due to the vagal inhibition, vagal stimulation. When there is pressure over the carotid body, there is increased tension in the carotid sinus that lead to the parasympathetic stimulation, and as a result of parasympathetic stimulation or vagus nerve pressure on the vagus nerve, there is inhibitory circulatory effects lead to the slowing of pulse, depression of myocardial contractility and conductivity, and generalized vasodilatation. But when there is occlusion of artery below the level of the carotid sinus, it causes strong adrenal sympathetic stimulation, and as a result there is acceleration of pulse, increase in myocardial contractility and conductivity, and there is generalized vasoconstriction. The sympathetic or parasympathetic stimulation may lead to sudden circulatory failure which may prove fatal. In that case, the fatal period is very short and you may not observe the non-specific generalized pathological asphyxial findings as prominent as in case when the mechanism of death is anoxic anoxia. And because the death is very rapid in that case and there is no time for development of any feature and finding, particularly when there is parasympathetic stimulation. In case of sympathetic stimulation, there is some time to develop these changes, and that may be seen. The third mechanism in case of throttling, mechanism of death in case of throttling, it may be due to the occlusion of blood vessels in the neck, both arteries and veins, and brain function stops, and death occurs if pressure maintained for sufficient time. So the autopsy finding in case of throttling, depending upon the mechanism of death, if it is due to the anoxic anoxia, then the general non-specific pathological findings, that is cyanosis, congestion, fluidity of blood, pulmonary edema, petechial hemorrhages are prominent. But in case of sudden death due to the vagal stimulation, these findings may not be evident. Visceral congestion is marked and petechial hemorrhages are seen on the pleura and pericardium. Face is congested. The specific findings that occur in death due to throttling are basically external and internal. External findings depending upon method of throttling, whether the assailant used one hand, both hands, or he strangled with forearm, and also he strangled the victim from front or behind. There are characteristic bruises due to pressure of fingertips along with crescent abrasions at edges of bruises due to nails. When he used the single hand from the front, there are 4 bruises on one side of the neck and 1 bruise due to the thumb on the other side of the neck. When he used both hands from the front, then there are 2 bruises on the center line of the neck and 4 bruises on each side of the neck. When he strangled it with both hands from the behind, then there are 4 bruises parallel on the front of the neck with the 2 single bruises on the side of the neck or on the behind. The abrasions that are seen on the neck are crescent shaped. Their concavity and convexity depend upon the stretching of the skin. Internally, discrete hemorrhages may be seen into the deeper structure of the neck. The neck should be dissected in such case with Y-shaped primary autopsy incision, and neck should be dissected after the dissection of head and thoraco-abdominal cavities, because then you will observe a bloodless field in the neck to observe these changes. Discrete hemorrhages and neck should be dissected in a layer-wise pattern, and hemorrhages discrete can be seen in the deeper structures of neck such as fascia, sheet of muscles, cervical muscles, thyroid gland, or even in the retropharyngeal tissue due to pressure against the spine. There may be hemorrhages or bruises on the intima of the carotid vessels, injury to the mucous membrane of the lungs. There may be fracture of the hyoid bone that is more commonly seen in the throttling and when the age is above 40 years of age. Fracture of laryngeal cartilages or thyroid cartilages may be observed. The mechanism of fracture of hyoid bone in case of throttling is through direct lateral compression or indirectly stretched through pressure on the thyroid ligament. Common portions which get fracture is greater carno of hyoid bone and superior carno of thyroid cartilage. Fracture of body of thyroid and hyoid occurs very rarely except in karate blows. There may be other injuries on the scalp, back, anterior chest and abdominal wall including the rib fractures. Medical legal significance of throttling: it is almost always homicidal, having connection with sexual assaults more commonly. Suicide by throttling is impossible. Accidental is rare. Diagnosis by means of presence of non-specific generalized pathological findings and the specific findings as described above. Difficulties in fresh bodies is that there may be postmortem dissection artifact during handling of neck tissues, as blood vessels are cut during dissection and there is extravasation of blood into the tissues. The cervical soft tissue peculiar in absorbing extravasated blood, and they appear as antemortem bruises. They should be differentiated from the antemortem bruises. Ideally, The dead body should go for X-ray of neck before the start of dissection. Special method of dissection that I described before. Y-shape incision to open the body, head and abdominal thoracic cavity open first, neck to be dissected at the last. Histological examination of suspected cases or suspected areas. The difficulties in putrefied bodies is that the localized discoloration produced by bruises may be found, but these could be produced when putrefaction affects localized intravascular collection of blood in cerebral tissue or localized patches of lividity. That is called pseudobruises. It is difficult to differentiate in case of putrefied bruises, bruises from the antemortem bruises. It is important to examine the hide bone because soft tissue findings could not be elicited. Fracture strongly suggests throttling, that is only the presumptive. These are the few pictures of throttling when the neck is strangled from the first by using the both hands. When strangled by using the both hands and the thumbs are on the front and four fingers on each side of neck produces bruises